Max, can you let Russell through, please?
No.
Let Russell through.
No, I was ahead.
My advice is to let him through.
Wait, I was ahead. He just ran me off the road.
But that's the rules.
Oh, and as he tried to let him through, George Russell, going rounds the outside at turn 5, makes contact with Max Verstappen, who was in no mood to let him through.
He needs.
Don't know, mate. Just crashed into him.
He needs to get black flagged. He just crashed into Russell on purpose.
On board with George Russell, who will be told Max is going to let you past. He's got past, and then Max drives into him.
Wow, that's bad. That is seriously bad.
Well, that looked even worse, riding on board with George Russell. He's ahead.
He just rams him, full on. You need to black flag that, there's no other way. But Max was in the right at first, in the first instance, and then the team went against Max, and they caused him to boil over.
I mean, I was as surprised as you guys probably were. I mean, I've seen those sort of manoeuvres before on simulator games and in go-karting, but never in Formula One. Ultimately, we came home in P4 and he came home in P10, so I don't really know what was going through his mind. It felt deliberate in the moment. So, yeah, it was a bit surprising.
Are you surprised it was only a 10-second penalty? Because there are options for a black flag and other penalties.
That's not really my place to say, to be honest. Right now, I'm not even going to give it any thought because we've got our own problems to deal with, which is trying to make our car go faster. We were sort of destined to finish P4 today, probably ahead of Charles and behind Max. Obviously, the safety car at the end to shuffle things up. But it's down to the stewards to decide if it was deliberate or not. But obviously, you know, Max is such an amazing driver, and so many people look up to him. It's just a shame something like that continues to occur. It just seems totally unnecessary, and it never seems to benefit himself. So, yeah.
I think that's the point. He makes those incredible moves like he does in Imola, and then he gets frustrated as we hear him being told on the radio to give the place back to you. And we see something like that then takes away from that fantastic driving. He was told to give it back and he was angry on the radio. I'm not saying it was intentional. I've never raced like that, so I have no idea. But to people watching, it takes the shine off what can be brilliant performances. So you're GPDA chairman. Can you guys talk? What can you do?
I mean, you know, I'm too close to give my opinion on behalf of the drivers, but you know, you see it was like in Austin last year, some of the best moves ever, and then you go to Mexico and sort of lets himself down a bit, and then you go to Imola, one of the best moves that we've all seen in a long time, and then this happens. So, as I said, it cost him and his team a lot of points, and you know, Charles and I actually dropped off like a stone on those last 2 laps. He probably could have came back to fight for the podium. So, as I said, I'm not going to lose sleep. We've got our own problems to deal with, and that's making our car go faster.
All right, thank you very much, George. Thanks. Hi, Max. I imagine you know my first question. Was the move on George intentional? My first question has to be, was the move on George intentional when you turned in?
Does it matter?
I think so, to people watching.
Yeah? Okay. That's great. I mean, I prefer to speak about the race than just one single moment.
The moment itself got you a 10-second penalty, though, and that pushes you back down to 10th, so it affects your driver's title hopes this year.
If there are any. So I think we are way too slow anyway to fight for the title. I think that was clear again today. We tried to do a 3-stop, and I think it was quite good. It was quite racy, but we also needed it because we had actually quite a bit of degradation on the tires. So I think that was good. Unfortunately, then of course the safety car came out at the end, and we basically ran out of tires to use, and the hard tire was clearly not the right tire. I mean, when you only have 6 laps to go, everyone can go flat out, and I was severely grip limited on the hard.
Just before that moment, it was like, would you rather be a sitting duck in third or a sitting duck in first had you stayed out for the safety car or not pitted when you did and just tried to cling on to those tires?
Of course, afterwards, I mean, we have to look at it again. Of course, new tires, or at least fresh tires, they do make quite a bit of a difference as well. So I think no one really expected maybe that the hard tire was so poor. But when it was only 6 laps, maybe it would have been better to stay out, yes. but that's of course a bit easier to say right now.
And just finally for me, leading up to the end of the race there, you were saying in the car that the ride is completely broken. You were unhappy about Lawson and Behrman's tussle in front of you, and then on the radio when GP came on and said, you know, you need to give the place back, there was a lot of frustration going on in the car. Is that what resulted in the move at the end of the race? Is that where it came from? Because you pull off something like the move in Imola, and we all see what an incredible driver you are. And it's horrible to see that shine taken off.
Is it?
With a comment about that. I think so, for fans and for kids watching, I think so.
Yeah? Okay, well, that's your opinion.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
We leave it there.
All right, thanks, Max.